Doug, how did you find Carnivore?
The short answer, Dave, is I found it on YouTube, but it was quite the journey to get here, to where I was in a position where I wanted uh, to try it. I had been doing so. I started about, I think I'm on day, like, let's just say 450. So I started last winter, and it went like this. I've been on doing keto since 2014, so that was 10 years, and struggling with it, and had been having some bad runs with carbs over the holiday season there, 23, 24, and videos were starting to come into my YouTube feed, and I would see them, and I was only mildly curious, and I just was thinking I was doing the keto, and finally, the weekend of the Super Bowl, and we were in the Super Bowl that year, a video came in on Saturday morning. The Super Bowl's on Sunday night. So on Saturday morning, I get up, and there's this Frigno Freedom. Frigno is the guy, and he was doing ribeyes, and he was on day 1,000. So he made a video commemorating day 1,000, and I watched the whole thing. It was 90 minutes, I believe, and I was fascinated. Then I watched Michaela Peterson, and then I watched maybe Dr. Chafee or one of the other ones. I watched three that morning, and then went about my business. And the next day we had a Super Bowl here, and my family was invited. Everyone stayed home because we all had sinus infections or something, and so it was just the three of us here: my wife, my son, and me. And he had made 2 platters of meat, so I just ate. I think it was chicken and ribs, and that started me off, and I was fine, and I knew I was going to do it. I kind of made a decision. Okay, here's an opportunity, and I need to do it, and so I just started. And I had keto flu a little bit the first week, and I remember that from when I started keto. When I started keto in 2014, I came from very high carb diet, very high carb standard American diet with a lot of soda pop, because I had quit drinking 5 or 6 years before that, and I was replacing the beer with the soda pop, I guess the sugar. And so I was really eating a lot of carbs back then. I started Carnivore in February of 2024, and just kept it going. It was kind of easy. I like the simplicity of it. Keto had required me to learn how to cook a variety of foods, which I had never done, and for various reasons. And then I had to meal plan, and then the cleanup. So those three things alone are, for the most part, they're about 75 or 80% non-existent with my carnivore diet, because I just eat hamburger and steak. I'm largely lion diet, so I'm eating just ruminant meats, and I've done some lamb. I'll occasionally do the others. I'll eat a little fish every once in a while, or chicken. But largely, I like steak. And right here, I live in the heart of America, and it's cattle country. There's cows just a few miles from here, cattle farms, and lots of them. So when I started, I thought maybe I would go to a farm and do grass-fed beef, and naturally sourced, and knowing where it's sourced. That's the thing people like to know. Where's my meat coming from? Well, I didn't, because, as I said last year, the grocery stores around here are great and well stocked, and I didn't have any. And I got into a routine at Costco with their sirloin, ribeye, hamburger, maybe a couple other cuts, but mostly those. Got into a pattern with that. And only recently, a friend of mine was trying Carnivore, and she called me, or she sent me a text with a photo in it of a farm-sourced meat store about 5 miles south of here. So I went out there last week and had variety of small packages. Normally, I've been buying larger packages, so I like this because I was ready for a little change. Smaller package, I get more variety, and the meat tastes good. the time I had tried some quote unquote grass fed from a grocery store that was uh, it wasn't hand wrapped, it was machine wrapped and mass produced, like, so whatever. So this store is pretty small. It's maybe 1,500 square feet, and there's one guy working there, and it comes from one farm in southern Kansas, right down there where, like, in cattle country. And so it's pretty great. I feel fortunate. I feel, lucky to have this great source of meat, and I have only eaten just a little bit of it. So I ate some of the hamburger, and I've got a ribeye in there, and I've got a strip, and a couple other smaller pieces. They have little specialty packages.
Right. So, having been carnivore since February 24,
Hmm.
what kind of changes did you notice relative to keto?
Okay, so with keto, I was using the alcohol-based sugars and the monk fruit and whatnot. And once I got into carnivore and was studying more on it, people pointed out that the alcohol-based sugars will fire up your cravings, and that had been happening to me. And I couldn't quite figure it out because when I started carnivore, I was more of a carb cycler. I found a program where every 96 hours you would have carbs at dinner, and the rest of the time restrict them a lot, almost all the way. So anyway, and that worked okay, but after a while it was difficult to maintain, and I would slip, and I would want carbs. So you asked me what happened with carnivore was no cravings, and the biggest thing for me is I have osteoarthritis. So on day 10 or 11, that was gone in my legs, everything below my waist. It was miraculous, and it's still gone. It's still gone. I can flare it. I'm a former tennis player. I'm still a semi-pro drummer. I play in public for money all the time. I taught, so I got into pickleball. I've been off the tennis court for a long time. I got into pickleball, and that's very stressful on a person's legs. And so in the last year, I've moved away from the competitive play. But I had one a glory moment. It was like 8 weeks into carnivore, and I went over to the really nice new public facility, and ran into my best friend over there that I played a lot with, and it was open play situation for 2 hours. We formed a double team, and we took on everybody in the place. There were like 10 other teams there, just a round robin thing, just totally fun. But we won every game, and I was moving like I was 45 instead of 75. And it was so fun. But I'll tell you what, the next day I could really feel it. And the day after that, I could still feel it. And the day after that, I could still feel it. So I knew that I wasn't going to be a big hot shot. And there's only so much tread on the tires. And I know from experience that with knees, it's my knees. Everything else is great. But with knees, the doctors tell you it's overweight or overuse. And it's not been overweight with me. It's because I'm skinny, but it's been sort of skinny. But they're overused. And so I have to respect that. And I'm going to teach the little kids this summer at summer camp for 7 weeks, and that'll be great because I like that. I like that.
Yeah. Oh, nice. And as you say, it's amazing that, despite feeling sore afterwards, you can do that at 75.
Yeah, it was phenomenal. And I don't. It's the impact. It's the cushioning, whatever the cartilage. Yeah, they call this a bad cartilage. It's called chondrotia malacia, and in the knees. And fortunately, I have a little bit left, and I've done the plasma-rich platelets injections, and that is. I think I'm regrowing cartilage. My knees feel great right now because I haven't been running, and I actually see at my age, I have to pick and choose. I don't know if it's just my age, but for me, I have to pick and choose my exercises carefully because I will tend to overdo it, even if I'm doing a very limited program. Because I've found I make myself sore pretty easily, and I don't like feeling sore. It's like counterproductive, right? And so I actually took 2 weeks off recently, and my legs feel so good. I haven't been going to the gym. It's been raining and different things, and I just I just decided I'm just going to back away from it for a while and see what's going on here. And I had I guess it's the same thing as last year. I had a little spring sinus infection. The pollen gets real heavy here in the spring, and a lot of people suffer from it. And so I just decided to shut it down for a while, not going to the gym. I'm not. I've been very big on exercise, but I'm not built like a bodybuilder or anything like that. So I do a lot of stretching and calisthenics and aerobics and hand-eye coordination, just different drills and stuff. But I've really backed off. I've been working on my drumming because I'm in a band that sounds pretty good, and so I got to keep up with them.
Right. Um, so what is it that makes you want to stick with carnivore? Is it the simplicity? Is it how you feel? Is it all of the above?
Yeah, it's a combination of those. Starting with the feeling, I mentioned that last year. My takeaway from Michaela Peterson was nothing tastes as good as this feels. So of course now sugar doesn't taste good, but and then the simplicity of the cleanup and the diet and the meal planning. I know I just don't like to spend a lot of time thinking about it, and that was one carnivore tip I got early on was we make such a big deal out of our meals, and they're so elaborate, and we spend so much time planning them and everything. So that was a shift in mindset for me, and it was a welcome one. I'm kind of tired of doing all that stuff, and so I will grab a steak and cook it and eat it, and maybe have a dollop of sour cream or some extra fat somehow. And if I'm still hungry, if I'm eating to satiety, I might have a piece of beef or a hamburger. And in the morning, I eat 3 eggs. I have a 3 egg omelet, and then in the afternoon, today I had some of that Kansas beef, that grass fed beef. It was a chuck roast. And so when I like to get the chuck, it's a lot less expensive, and I cook it in a sous vide. I don't know if you're from yeah. So I cook it in the sous vide overnight, 24 hours at 140 degrees. It melts that fat. It tastes almost like prime rib. It's so good, and I can get one of those things and eat on it for 3 or 4 days. Get 5 or 6 or 7 pound piece that'll feed me for 4 days, and with hamburgers and little bacon, eggs every morning. I had bacon today. It was the first time in probably 3 weeks. I love bacon, but I'm not hung up on it. I don't have to have it, but it's fun. It's good to not feel guilty about it.
Right. So your son made that meat platter. That's how you kind of got started with it.
Yeah,
I've
he's the one
seen
I
the
told you about
video.
last year. He's the chef.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
so he has high skills.
so how has your son and your family reacted to this? Are they like, "Oh, well, this is awesome," or are they like, "Dad's turned into the weird meat guy"?
Somewhere in between, and it's still the same thing as last year, where they're really focused on doing their YouTube channel. They have a YouTube channel with a live show for 2 hours every Friday night, and it's worldwide. And they put a lot into it to develop the content and then produce the show. And they're having a live event here in Kansas City this summer. People are coming from all over. I think 150 people or something. Yeah. So that's it's a business, and so they're real focused on that, which is good. They leave me alone, and then he cooks for her. They eat the same way. They're carb, but they eat everything. That's all. They're omnivore.
Like you mentioned some friends are trying this as well. Like, have you got quite a few people interested in doing
Yeah,
carnivore?
yeah, and everybody knows I'm doing it. Like I go to 2 or 3 different AA meetings. I know hundreds of people, and I'm old. So I know, and I've just been around here most of my life. So yeah, a lot of people don't know I'm doing it. Most people aren't interested, and I don't care because I understand that it's none of my business what they do. But if they ask, I tell them, and of course when I got into I've always been interested in health. I started back in the '90s studying cancer because it riddled my family. And so I'd have friends that would have cancer, and I learned pretty quickly that nobody wants to talk to me about it. It's serious, it's life threatening, and they don't want to hear about a holistic thing. I still have a couple websites that I'll refer people to if they ask a question, but I don't talk to them about cancer anymore. It's too serious, and they're so brainwashed with the different, cut, poison, burn strategy for cancer, which works for some people, but a lot of people it doesn't. It's sad, and it's tragic. And so anyway, with the keto, I play it by ear, but occasionally I'll see somebody that could really use it, and I'll walk up to them and I'll tell them, I'll say, can I ask you some question? That's how I always start, because I'm a salesman, right? May I ask you a question? Are you happy with the way you look and feel?
What kind of reaction do you get to that?
Usually pushback, usually pushback, mild, mild pushback. Now, the morbidly obese people that I may see in public, I don't talk to them. These are people that I know that are like, 50 or 100 pounds overweight, and I'll say something to them. Yeah. But people that are strangers, no, I don't humiliate people.
So you're not walking up to random people you don't know and saying, "Are you happy with the way you look?"
No. Some of these people, if I know them, I feel for them. I go, I can just see the pain that you have when you get up out of the chair and you walk. And I used to be like that. Even though I'm skinny, I used to hurt so badly. I had so much inflammation. And it was on fire. And I mean, I would just it'd take me 10 seconds to get out of the chair, just ridiculous.
Yeah, and that pain just standing up or sitting down and those twinges and stuff, it's just horrible.
It is horrible. So, on the gout front, when I was doing keto very successfully about 4 years ago, my gout flared. And it was very similar to the discussion I saw earlier on YouTube on that one video that was posted this morning. And it just was baffling to me. And so I finally broke down, and I'm in a hospital system. And I have a doctor, but I don't talk to him much or see him much. And but I can call over there. I can use the lab work, and I can call over and get a referral for different things. And so anyway, and I thought, I am just going to talk to a registered nutritionist, because this is a big old hospital chain here. One of the two most prominent hospital chains in the Kansas City area. And I lucked out. I got a very good dietitian. And so I talked to her on the phone or on the chat, and she said, keep a food journal for 3 days and come and see me. So I did that, and we had a great talk. The curious thing, Dave, was the only thing she did was adjust my cheese intake from very extra sharp cheddar cheese to Swiss. And the gout went away. I mean, gout is like mysterious. It's just like some kind of pH balance, some kind of critical pH balance in there. The sugar and the salt and the water. I mean, I don't know. My mind just doesn't work that way. Even though I'm trained as a financial analyst, I never was in life sciences. I can't go there. My mind doesn't wrap itself around that set of facts. But anyway, that's what happened. And but I haven't had any problems with Carnivore with the gout flaring. My gout started in 2001, and I probably had somewhere between 10 and 15 crippling attacks over the years. They would last 2 and 3 days, where I'd be bedridden. I mean, they'd be serious, but they would eventually go away. I would just treat it with painkillers and wait for it to go away, and I'd be real restricted on my activities. Yeah.
So you mentioned AA before. So do you think the alcohol contributed to the gout flaring?
Oh yeah, my diet used to be so bad. So on a typical night, I did this for years, because I was pushing myself in the tennis game, which made me really sore, because I was playing what they call up. So I was playing against really good players, and I was pretty good. But I was playing against guys better all the time. So it'd make me sore. So I always played after work or early evening. And we'd get done, and they would order 2 pitchers of beer. There'd be, either 8 or 12 of us playing, 2 quarts or 3 quarts. So it'd be 8 or 12 guys. We order pitchers of beer, drink them, and then I'd go to the bar. And I'd go in there and I'd get a plate of wings slathered in greasy sauce and another pitcher of beer just for me. And so that's not a very healthy diet. Yeah. So I drank like that for a dozen years. And so who knows? It's amazing. I'm as good as I am, really. And, but I knew enough to not, I really watched it with the hard liquor, even though I loved it. I really controlled it. I was one of these guys that didn't really enjoy his drinking all that much. I was drinking medicinally because I hurt. Yeah, so it was more like that.
I see. So,
But yeah, it definitely took its toll.
mm, so do you feel one of the things I noticed with my drinking was that while I was drinking, while I was eating the carbohydrates, I never had a feeling of self-control. And one of the things that's amazing for me about carnivore is, and I think it's just getting the carbohydrates out of your diet, is you just have this much stronger sense of self-control, this ability to just look at stuff and go, "I don't care anymore. I don't care about the drink. I don't care about these things. I'm not I'm not controlled by them anymore."
Yes, absolutely. Well, yeah, alcohol when used to excess, it totally warps one's mind and ruins your judgment. Does it plays all kinds of games with you mentally, physically, spiritually. Yeah, so you end up having a real bad attitude. I could talk about it for hours, and I have talked about it for hours, but this isn't the time or place. But yeah, so alcohol definitely made everything more difficult, and carnivore was easy. Carnivore has been easy, and yeah, and it's not really. Uh, it's just like staying off the carbs. I just feel so much better. Yeah, just feel so much better.
So since we last spoke, have you noticed any changes, or have you changed anything about your diet?
Oh, so yeah, I had this little story. A couple of things happened because we talked before. But so during the course of this last year, I've had this latent disequilibrium kind of in the background. I've had it for a couple of years, and I'll be 75 in 10 weeks, so I'm not young. So this wasn't like unexpected. And at my age, I just push through any little health situations. I just don't stop. I don't give in to them. So this had been going on for a while, and finally it was bothering me enough that I saw an audiologist, and she did all the checks. She was really thorough and good, and she told me that I had a cranial nerve that was damaged. It was actually the cochlear nerve. It's called the vestibulocochlear nerve. It's cranial nerve number 8, and it comes right behind your cochlea, right here. And she said, Doug, based on what we've talked about, you wouldn't like any of the drugs that the neurologists have, so I don't really know what to tell you. So I came home and I treated it with my Rife machine and electric frequencies, no relief. And then finally, long story short, I found a chiropractor who doesn't use popping, but he uses a thing called an arthrostim. That's ATHEROSTIM. It's kind of like it's an adjustment tool. And he adjusted my meninges, and the meninges is a sac that all your nerves are in. And it comes down off the back of your brain and down your spine. And so when he adjusted my meninges, my disequilibrium was gone almost instantaneously. And I did further treatments for about 6 weeks, and I hardly have it. I compared to where I was, I don't have it at all. So that happened, but what this story is leading up to is I've had to, with my legs getting sore from the running around the pickleball court. Those sprints I don't do anymore, and so without sprints, I gained weight back, but I don't care because I'm only 165, and that's what the doctor told me I was supposed to be. When I was running around the pickleball court, I was about 155, and I loved it. It was great to be that light, but I don't need to be that. I'm fine here, and I'm a little stronger at 165. So that's been the big change. Is just gaining a little weight and accepting it. And so what I did, the adjustment I did make was I cut out the cream in my coffee because I think because I that was my guilty pleasure. That was my devilish delight because I love it. I don't do it anymore. So I've been off cream for about a month now, I think. So and yeah, carnivore is it's real flexible that way. You can isolate things and figure it out. Okay, let's try this. I'll just cut out the cream, and I immediately lost 3 pounds in like 2 weeks. And because I was over 165, I think I got almost to 168. I go, that's not good. It's got to be that cream, and so I just cut it out. And the other day I weighed, I was 164. So
Oh, that's awesome.
yeah.
Um, yeah. So at this stage, do you feel like it's carnivore forever?
Oh yeah. It's like no doubt. There's no deal breakers. It's kind of like with my drinking. That was a different time. That was a different place. That was a different me. And so that I finally found this, and this is my solution. This is a solution for carbohydrate addiction, which is what a lot of us have, and we're conditioned that way. And everything, everything we eat or I ate had it when I was growing up. And about so when I got sober, we sold our big house and paid off all the debts, and I moved out to the country. So I moved 50 miles out in the country, and out there it's still 1959. And in terms of culture, I'm not kidding. It's country music, beer, pizza, and casseroles and pies, and it's all sugar. And out there, they talk with a country accent, and they don't say, "I have diabetes." Guy will walk up to another guy. Literally, it's like this. They go, "You got the beaties?" In other words, do you have diabetes? Everyone has it, and they all know it. And whether it's type 2 or type 1, it's largely type 2. But so I am just so I saw that. And I lived out there for 10 years, and then we moved back up here 5 years ago into the city. But I was out there with the cows, and it was an enlightening experience because the people are just so, and it's this way all over the world, or any place that the world needs carnivore because this sugar diet. I mean, it's this carb based diet is just proliferated, and it's cultural. And so I was looking at. So my wife was really good at a couple classes when she went to class in high school. She largely didn't go to any classes. She stayed home because her dad was in the administration, and she could get away with it. Point is, she had a cooking class, and that was her favorite class. I pulled out that book last year, and it's all sugar recipes. Just all desserts and breads and pies, and all flour and sugar. Every single one of them. There's nothing healthy in the whole book.
So, and when you think about that, like those cookbooks, it was basically all flour and sugar and all that kind of thing, right? And
Yeah.
look at the state of us now. If we continue on this path, can you imagine what it's going to be like 30 years from now?
I don't, because I mean it's horrifying. You see those. I see them in my Facebook feed or YouTube in the shorts where they show people at a swimming pool in 1955. Like when I was 5 years old, I'd go to the swimming pool. Everybody was skinny, or in my youth, right? And now it's not. It's not that way at all. And plus, back then, you never saw all these morbid obese people like you see now. Morbidly, they're like terminally fat, 350 and up, 350, 450, 550, dot, dot, dot. So my buddy that uh, I'm playing music with, he was 320 and now he's 260. So that's been good for him. Yeah, and he never thought he could do it. He had no idea. So he's doing the best he can. He's learning, and he's already done 60, and he's kind of plateaued at 60 off. And I told him, man, if you do another 40 or 50, you'll feel like you're a teenager again. He's 51 years old, so he's got
And
he can feel good.
Yeah, when you think about this kind of thing, the people that are getting to the 300s, the 400s, the 500s,
Hmm.
most of this, the really sad part about it is most of these people don't realize that they've got a choice. They just think, I drew the short straw in life and that's how I'm built, right? Because of the brainwashing and stuff, if they realized they had a choice, then it would be fine. If they want to get fat, then that's fine. But they don't, because they're listening to marketing messages. It's like the low fat, just eat more low fat food and I'll be fine at some point, and they're just poisoning themselves without realizing it.
They are. They, that's a great comment. It gives me insight on how to approach people. My new question should be, you have a choice. Because one of my friends is come to our AA group is a commercial chef, and he likes to bring stuff for everybody to eat. And of course, um, it's all sugar, flour, etc. It's desserts and whatnot. And he's really not healthy, and he feels bad all the time. I feel sorry for him. He's in his 60s, and he's been eating that way his whole life, and that's how almost everyone is. That's how I was. I'm no better or any different. I was that way, and I've told you about my childhood and drinking multiple pitchers of lemonade. And one another part of my childhood, when I was 10 years old, I got a horse, right? So we kept it out in the country at a 80-acre pasture. The suburban kids would have their horses out there, and the owner leased the land, and he would take care of them, and we'd come out and ride them in the evening or on weekends. So I got to know the guy. I started working for him when I was 10 years old, and he paid me in Coca-Colas. And I would drink 10 of those a day. Hey, go get Mrs. Jones's horse. Oh, go get the hay. Oh, go get the donkey. Clean out that stall. Do this. Go get me a lead rope. These kinds of little jobs. I was doing all of his errands, and he would pay me in Coca-Colas, and I would get 8 or 10 of them a day and willingly drink them, and then go home and drink more. When I was 10, 11, 12. And I remember how bad I felt when I was in junior high school, that would be 12, 13, and 14 years old, on that sugar diet. And my body was changing, was going into puberty and all that stuff. And oh my God, I felt so bad. Now I know why. Now I know why.
Yeah. So, Doug, if you were giving someone advice about starting carnivore and they want to give it a good go and they want to stick with it, what would you advise them to do?
Uh, the thing that helped me, and I don't know if this is the right thing to say or not, is I like to eat, high quality meat. There you go, high quality meat, and so I can't afford the best quality all the time. So there, I use the sous vide to make it taste really good. I want to eat something that tastes really good. So, and around here, all of the hamburger tastes fantastic. Um, and then the beef, I'm careful with what I eat, but especially if I feel like I'm getting a little bit of meat burnout or taste burnout, or I need some variety, I'll buy something really good, and that's what I'll just do. And I'll sacrifice something else that month. And I just won't have it. I'll just shift my budget. So I need an extra $100 so I can eat ribeye for a couple of weeks, and that's what I do. Because if the quality is up, I never get tired of it. But I'm not financially in a position because I have a lot of responsibilities, and I'm largely on fixed income. I'm not doing bad, but the meat's unbelievably, because what I'm talking about is 15, 20, $25 a pound for the really goods. It's high. So yes, the other thing is, don't give up. Stick with it. Um, Watch YouTube. There's so much good content on there. You become self-educated in a month and no more than any doctor you're going to go see who doesn't know about it. You can get as technical or and as detailed and as deep as you want on YouTube. I mean, it's all on there. There's scientists from Harvard that are doctors from Harvard, Dr. Palmer, for example, doing research on mitochondria and brain function and MS and mental health and curing it with carnivore. I mean, there's stuff going on that it's coming out of the closet a little bit. So the information is out there. if you want to learn about it, that helps and gives you hope because you can heal almost a lot of conditions that are deemed hopeless. You can heal with carnivore. A lot of people use it for massive weight loss. So I don't come from that perspective because I only had a little bit of weight to lose, and most of mine was water weight, and I took off a bunch of weight right away when I started, and that was good. But that isn't the thing. Is the healing and the long term healings because I'm not as young as I used to be. So my skin. So when I go to the dentist, I haven't told you this. When I go to the dentist, um, they pretty much can't believe it how healthy because I have my teeth are stained from coffee and liquor and all that stuff over the years, but my gums and yeah, and my teeth too are in perfect health because I don't have any sugar on them, and I have my own regimen for cleaning my teeth, and I never have a cavity. I never need any work anymore. Whereas when I moved up here from the country 5 years ago, I had saved my money and I had $20,000 worth of work done on my mouth. So that, yeah, so that was one benefit of going carnivore because
Yeah, I think one of the strong signs that this is the way we should be eating is the fact that when anyone goes carnivore, instantly they start to realize that they don't have that furry feeling on their teeth, that their gums start to improve and that kind of thing. When your oral health starts to improve, that's a strong signal we're doing the right thing.
it is. It's so important with the blood-brain barrier, and it's just a complete uh, barometer or indicator of your overall health, your dental height, your dental health, and the way your teeth and gums feel. It's so important. So the other things, I've told you that my skin got better. The skin tags fell off. Herpes, recurring herpes on my belt line that were super painful. I've had one little flare in 15 months or whatever, but it used to be all the time, off and on, but like several times a year. They're gone now. Um, the other thing, so I had a hydrocele, and so you can look that up because it's in the private parts. I had a hydrocele swelling. It's HYDROCEL, hydrocele. It's a condition, and they usually just do surgery. Mine shrunk. Mine shrunk. So that's yeah. So that happened within about 3 months. That happened. So I don't even know what else is going on, but I just know that it's the right way to eat, and long term there'll be benefits. And I don't really have a goal on that. It's just to stay on it. Stay on it.
Right. So, Doug, if people want to reach out to you, is there any way they can get in contact?
Absolutely. I've got an email, and can you post that in the notes, or if you have it? If you have
Yeah,
it, yeah, yeah,
sure.
we've got. And then I'm on Facebook. Um, Doug Gunn in Kansas City, like that, and then I'm in several bands. So the band I like now, we have a Facebook page, and we're Uncle Funky KC. Just two words, Uncle and Funky, Funky, Uncle Funky KC, and we're just doing songs from the 50s and 60s and 70s. We have a couple of really good singers. It's just a four-piece band, and we play in this little restaurant club right by my house. I told my wife, at this point, my goal is just to conquer the shopping center down the street. I don't want to go anywhere. I have drummed in 44 states, I think, and made CDs and toured a little bit and just played a lot and played a lot of lower level stuff too. Lots of weddings, private parties, clubs, just all that stuff. And it's a blast. But I'm actually down to using digital drums because they're easier to move. The big ones are too heavy for me to move. So I have a great room down in the basement. I play at home.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, I'll link to your email and those Facebook links below.
Okay.
Um, Thank you for coming back on and letting us know how things are going, Doug. I really appreciate your time.
Appreciate what you do, Dave. You're a great asset to the carnivore community.